Hey guys, welcome to another Pacing Racing episode, and today we're working alongside Echelon Wheels, which is a Canadian wheelset company based out of here in Ontario, Canada. So I'm glad to be working along with them because we're going to be doing a series of aero testing today, and that includes 3 different wheel sets we're going to be testing out, including the full disc in the rear and the 88mm in the front, a nice very aero wheel set. Now we're also going to compare that alongside a very mixed of aerodynamic and stable wheel set, which is the 50mm front and 50mm rear. And that's a very common one for the average cyclist. Now, lastly, we're going to pair that up to the basic wheel set that you'll find on most basic start out bikes before people start to upgrade up to different aerodynamic wheel sets. So we want to compare all those through a series of 10-minute interval testings at 3 different wattage outputs. So we're going to be seeing that today over 2 different testing days in 2 different race environments, one including the hilly conditions with a lot of sharp turns and a lot of wind through all different directions. And we're going to do a second day where it's going to be a nice flat and fast course where you might see a lot of the benefits of the aerodynamics come out. So we're going to be doing that testing today, guys. We're working alongside William from Echelon Wheels to do so. So thanks a lot for that. And now let's dive into today's episode. Hey guys, so we are here today at the Dalkey cycling track here in Sudbury, Ontario, and I'm here with Will from Echelon Wheels, and we are doing the aero testing over 3 different wheel sets to see how long we could go and what the outcomes are for each wheel set. So we have a versatile option, we have an aerodynamic option, and we have the stock wheel set. So we're going to be testing all these through a series of 10 minutes at different given wattages, and we're going to see how these all fare out per distance. So now a little bit about this course here. It's a pavement loop course, 1.4 kilometers, and it's about 30 meters elevation. And right now, because of the way that's looped, we're getting headwinds, tailwinds, side crosswinds, everything you want. So it's got a lot of adversity to this, which is really cool because at the end of the day, guys, that's how we race in outside conditions. So I think this is some crucial testing we're doing here today, so I'm looking forward to this, and let's see the outcomes. First up, we're going to start with the stock rims. All right, so next up we are now doing the 50mm aero front and rear set. So this is a nice versatile set, and this is gonna be something to see the difference between this versus the stock set. So look forward to that. I'm already feeling bad for Will here. He's putting out a lot of wattage here, so excited to see the results. Let's go. All right, so Will is hard at it right now, so I don't know how he's doing it, but good for him. He's testing out the different wheels right now, and right now he is switching to the full disc in the rear and the front 88mm. So let's see how that goes. Alright guys, so that wraps up today's video at the Sudbury track. So this is a nice windy and hilly track that we tested on. So we want to test out on another day, a nice calm day. We're going to test out a flat and fast track in case you guys should do a flat and fast race. So we want to make sure we test all different angles and all the different scenarios. So when we get to that, let's see how that goes. Who's this guy behind me here? All right guys, so we are here for testing day number 2 for the Echelon wheel set testing, and we're a little more close to home here, not such a far trek to Sudbury, but as you can see behind me, it's a nice fast and flat course. So the wind conditions aren't too bad today. It's a beautiful day out, so we want to test the same wheel sets and the same testing, same dynamics, same wattages, all that stuff, guys. So let's dive into today's testing. All right, so that wraps up the testing today. A lot of great insight, guys. I'm really excited to see the outcome of all this. So let's head back to the pain cave and let's check the results.
So how did the testing go? Well, we had a ton of data to siphon through and analyze, so we summarized a little bit of it here for you to see. Now, due to the length of the course, as well as the turnarounds at each end, the advantages of the full aero setup, which again was the 88mm front and the disc rear, was slightly minimized. So let's analyze a little bit of the data that we pulled from the field testing. Now, this chart shows each wheel setup at 200 watts and 300 watts, and how far of the distance was traveled within 10 minutes at each wattage output. Now, the column second from the right shows if that data was extrapolated across the Ironman distance, what your finish time would have been. And the last column identifies the top speeds reached within each setup. And as you'll notice, we even had higher top speeds with the 88mm front and the disc rear. But this data set shows that we had the same distance traveled on the disc, as well as the 50mm front and rear in the 300 watts category. Now, the reason for this was William lost a little bit of time during the 300 watts run using the full aero setup at the turnaround because he had to slow down for a car to slowly pass him, which, is just one of those problems you run into when field testing. But I mean, since each run is only roughly 6 kilometers in length, we lose a few seconds picking up speeds at both ends overall. And should this be a longer course, I think the advantage of the full setup would have been more obvious. But overall, this data shows us that the more aero you are in your wheel set, pretty much equates to the higher average speed you'll be given with the same efforts and wattages. So now, some key takeaways I just wanted to point out that the discs prove, of course, the greatest benefit at faster speeds. So we tested at lower speeds and you saw a little bit of benefit, but it wasn't a whole lot, right? It's for those faster speeds, 300 watts plus, also sometimes mentioned as 35 kilometers to 40 kilometers an hour. Those are best suited for the discs because that's when the true aero benefits come out at higher speeds and at heavier wattages. Now, of course, they're also best suited for flat courses and less windy courses. Now, when you talk about the depth of your profile and wheels, the more deeper profile wheels harness the wind effect and use it to their advantage, such as the 88mm wheel, which I have on the rear of my bike. Now, the shallower profile wheels are less aerodynamic, of course, but they also are less sensitive in handling them in wind gust conditions, so like a 50 or 60. So you can always kind of play around with which wheel set you prefer. So now I just want to go over a couple few takeaways and piece of advice on wheels when you're looking at buying wheel sets and figuring out what's the best wheel set for you. Now, heavier or experienced cyclists obviously fare better on the deeper profile wheels compared to those who are lighter or newer cyclists, simply due to they're going to be less likely blown around and affected by wind gusts, which that would be the only downfall of a deeper rim. It's just that you're going to be more prone to wind gusts, which reduces your stability on the bike. So that's why heavier or experienced cyclists tend to do better in handling the bike in those conditions. So now, deeper rims for less windy areas, shallower rims for more windy areas is a good general rule of thumb to keep in mind. Now, due to the length of today's video, I can't really get into tires and their aerodynamic properties, but I should let you guys know tires do make quite the difference in your aerodynamic setup overall. So I did a great podcast with JP Ballard, who's an aerodynamicist and co-founder of Swiss Side. So I'd like to actually refer you guys to that podcast episode with him if you want to learn more about the tires and aerodynamics and how that can affect your overall setup. So I'll leave that link to the podcast episode in the description below, or just simply search Pacing Racing wherever you get your podcasts. And lastly, just want to touch base on different wheel set selections because we've talked all about the aerodynamic properties up until now. Now we just need to decide which one would be suited for you. Now, everyone's going to be different ultimately. So if you're maybe a newer cyclist or a lighter cyclist, then you might want to try those shallower profile rims. There's the 38mm option, a 50mm option, a 60mm option. Now, those are all great, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of hilly courses or a lot of windy courses. That'll help you out a little bit in terms of not being blown around from wind gusts, and you save a little bit of weight. But overall, these are all excellent wheels. Doesn't matter which one you go for. Just try and find out which one will be best suited for you. Now, I personally have the 60mm in the front and the 88 in the rear, and I'm a big fan of that. And that's kind of like my overall, I can go to any race course with that and feel comfortable. Now, if it is a flatter, faster course, I would love to switch that 88mm in the rear to a full disc because the disc is absolutely incredible and it feels amazing to be on. 10 times over, I would choose a disc if I could. So in saying that, it really depends on what type of cyclist you are and what your preference is. So you can never go wrong with something nice fall in the middle between stability and aerodynamics, but it's totally up to you. And if you guys want to check all these out, check out what selections Echelon has, then head to echelonwheels.ca.
All right, so that wraps up today's video. Thanks so much for tuning into that, guys. Hope you guys got a lot of good key takeaways when it comes to picking your wheel selection. Now, Echelon, thanks so much for helping out with all that and letting us use your wheels for this testing. Now, I'm a big fan of their wheels. I use them all the time, and they're great quality for a fraction of the price compared to other competitors. So that's why I'm a huge fan of them. And of course, being a Canadian company, that's an extra kudos. So good job on them. But seriously, guys, if you do want to learn more about Echelon wheels, I've left the link in the description below. And you can also hit their website at echelonwheels.ca. Now, they also let us use a limited time promo code for the Pacing Racing listeners and viewers. So if you guys want to jump on that, it's $100 off your wheel set purchase, which is really cool of them to do so considering their wheels are already one of the cheapest out in the market today. Now, use promo code Pacing and Racing at checkout. And again, that's only open for a limited time, so definitely jump on it while you can if you're thinking about upgrading your wheel set. So other than that, guys, if you want to check them out on Instagram, it's at Echelon Wheels. Same with Facebook. And other than that, guys, that wraps up today's episode. We'll talk to you guys next time. Cheers.